Hi, in this fourth video of the error analysis lecture series, we are going to study, we are going to understand the systematic errors in experiments and their analysis. The topics covered will be the systematic errors, their effects, what effects do they produce, concept of propagation, how to deal with systematic errors, concept of least count error, all these things will be discussed here. So to understand the first thing, the systematic errors and their effects, let us consider a situation, a real life situation, which can happen with anyone, either me or with you, in in any condition. So that is a very interesting story, though it is not very comfortable to hear because it is leading to some kind of disastrous effect to a person. Suppose there is a person who is very much conscious about his weight and fitness, regularly works out, takes care of his diet, goes to the gym, and he has only one mission: to look fit, to look good, to look muscular. This is what he is dreaming of. And these types of people, they are very much conscious about their weight. They measure their weight regularly. And in one certain instance, when he measures his weight and he finds that he has gained some weight, about 5 kilos. And this is a very concerning situation. It puts him in stress that he has gained weight, he is losing his shape. He measures his weight times and again. Please be attentive what I am saying. Times and again on the same instrument, and every time he finds that he is overweight by 10 kgs. Now what to do? He stops thinking any solution of the problem in any other way, and what he starts dieting. He controls his diet and starts excessive workout without any expert guidance because he is overweight, and every time he is measuring his weight, he is finding that he is 10 kilos overweight. Now what happened to that unfortunate person is that he wanted to be like this: strong, fit, good looking, good shape. And what he became a weak, tired person because whatever he was doing by getting misguided by something. He didn't even care that he didn't even think that he should measure his weight on some other instrument and go for some expert guidance. He didn't think of this. Now what was the problem? He consulted some person related to science or a physicist, and he said that there may be a problem with the balance. This balance has a systematic error, means this balance has a problem, that is that it shows always an extra weight of 5 kgs. And this systematic error of the balance of the instrument led to this disaster. It could have been fatal, but he survived somehow. So a faulty instrument can lead to disaster. It can misguide you, it can take you to the wrong way systematically. We will come here later on. So what we have seen here is that systematic error, it can be anything: a clock or watch running late or slow, a thermometer that reads high or low temperature, a gun with wrong side. Suppose your watch that you are following, it is slow, it is running slow, and you don't know, you do not calibrate your watch, you don't check whether your watch is showing correct time or not. And a slow watch will give you a label that this person is always late. Similarly, if your watch that you are following, it is fast, you don't care to check whether the watch is giving correct time or not. What will happen? it will take you, it will always put you in a state of hurry. You will run to your workplace, you will run to your home, and this hurry, it may cause disastrous accident. You get an thermometer. This thermometer is always reading some extra temperature. You are confused that whether you have fever or not, and you start wrong medication, or you are concerned about start running to the doctor. A gun with false sights will take your shots always away from the actual target. Now, how to deal with these systematic errors? Systematic errors cannot be corrected by statistical methods. As you have seen, that person, he measured his weight many times, maybe 15 or 20 times, and every time he is 10 kgs overweight. So repeating your measurements 15 times, 20 times, 1000 times, 500 times is not the solution to fix the systematic errors. They are inherent errors that are associated with the instrument. They have to be treated with different mathematical tools. And the first thing we can do is to use calibrated instruments. Calibrated means you check the instrument whether it is proper or not. If you buy a thermometer, check whether this thermometer is showing 0 degree when it is dipped in ice or not. If it is not showing 0 degree, it has some systematic error. Better you change that thermometer, because it can lead you to disasters. Now, how do errors propagate? How do they undergo motion? Motion means they creep into your final result. Suppose you are taking a rectangle, you have a rectangular block for which you have to measure the area. You measure the length, you measure the breadth with a scale or a meter tape. And suppose that meter tape has the same problem as that of the weighing machine that this health conscious person was using. It is showing some extra length, or it is showing measuring some less length. So the quantities that you measure, L and B, they are not pure numbers. They have some extra factors. This L is not L, this L is plus minus del L, this B is B plus minus del B, this del B and del L, they are the errors or uncertainties or extra factors that creep due to the instrument. Every time it is not possible to change the instrument. So you have to know beforehand, check beforehand whether your instrument has some error or not. For example, zero error. So when you measure the area of this rectangle by multiplying L and B, so the final quantity area, it will also have an extra factor del A, which is systematic error, or which is the uncertainty in the value of the area which has been measured. And our purpose is to find this del A, the uncertainty in the final result. Where this uncertainty is coming from, it is coming from the uncertainties associated with length and breadth. Now let us take another case where you are measuring the perimeter, which is 2 into L plus B. Again, your L and B have some errors. L plus minus del L, B plus minus del B. So these two quantities, they are different. Area is a product, perimeter is a sum. Now the basic process, what we are trying to search, what we are trying to do is that we are trying to find out a way how to combine the uncertainty in L and the uncertainty in breadth. We are trying to combine mathematically two quantities which are not pure numbers but have some extra factors. And this is very similar to a familiar solution when we study the concept of complex numbers. Complex numbers are numbers that have real part, a pure number, and an imaginary part. This is the extra factor, and in physics this extra factor appears as this systematic error. It appears as phase of the oscillating quantities. It appears as the phase in the wave function, waves, different types of waves. They are present in nature, they are present in physics. We have to take care of this extra factor. Now let us come to this summation problem. We have this summation. This is a simple formula. So what you should do, you should write first the formula with L plus del L and B plus del B. You can write plus minus also, plus minus del L, plus minus del P. So what you have, your purpose is to calculate the uncertainty in P, in the perimeter. Now what mathematical tool we should use for systematic error analysis? Statistical tools are not going to provide you any help. The mathematical tool that you can use is the concept of partial derivative. Because why partial derivative? Suppose you have a quantity f that depends on x and y. You measure x, you measure y, multiply x and y or add x and y, and you find out the quantity f. Now suppose this delta x is the uncertainty in the measurement of x and delta y is the uncertainty in the measurement of y. So partial derivative, what we do in a partial derivative, we fix y, find the variation of f, find the variation in f with variation in x. Then we make x constant and find the variation in f with variation in y, and combine these two variations. So basically, when we are combining the variations in f due to variations in x and y, we are taking into consideration the uncertainties in the measurement of x and measurement of y by delta x and delta y. And this is giving you the variation in delta f. F has a variation, F has an uncertainty because x and y from which it is made, they have uncertainties. Now if you square it, what you will get? You will get something like a square plus b square plus 2ab. The interesting factor is this 2ab term. This is called a mixed term or a mixed factor. This one. Mixed factor because it contains the product of uncertainty in x and uncertainty in y. It has been averaged out. So after taking the average, this becomes the standard deviation that we discussed in the last lecture. Now, if the measurement in x is not affecting the measurement in y, suppose x is measured by some other one instrument and y is a quantity which is measured by some other instrument, then what happens? Del x and del y are uncorrelated. Or suppose del x and del y are measured by the same instrument, but del x, del y, they are very small quantities. Now you may ask, what is this del x, del y? This is the least count of the instrument, the minimum measurement that can be done with that instrument. Suppose you are measuring the area of the rectangle, I will come to that example, del L into del B. Generally, the least count is required to have a very small value, so this product will also have a very small value and it is neglected. So if del x del y comes out to be 0, the quantity 2 del f del x del f del y delta x delta y, it is 0, and this is a situation where the standard deviation or the error in the result is simply the square root of the squares of the sums. So this is how we can proceed. We will come to the example. Suppose you have the perimeter, you expand the equation, you write L with its uncertainty, B with its uncertainty, expand the quantity in the right hand side, and what you will get? P will cancel out on both sides and you will be left with delta P, which is the uncertainty in the measurement of perimeter as shown in step 3, and this is the sum of the uncertainties of L and B. Delta L and delta B, they represent the least count of the instrument by which L and B are measured. In a similar case, you can find out the area which is a product, and you will see that in the case of product, the uncertainty in area contains a mixture term L delta B, B delta L. So in this case, in the previous case also you can do, you divide this equation in step 4 by A is equal to L into B, and what you get is a fractional uncertainty. This fractional uncertainty is very important. Fractional uncertainty tells us that in the measurement of area, what fraction of the uncertainty in the area calculated is due to the uncertainty in L is due to the uncertainty in B. So this is a very important quantity. And this is what we find in every experimental process. See this equation A plus del A, and this is again containing a quantity which is the product of the two uncertainties, two errors. And this quantity has a special significance. If this quantity comes out to be zero, product comes out to be zero, then we say that it is the two quantities L and B from which A is obtained, they are uncorrelated. If you are measuring A length with the scale with some scale or meter tape, it is not going to affect the breadth, and in the vice versa, the measurement of breadth is not going to affect the measurement of L. If you are using the same instrument, then the uncertainty or the least count of that instrument, it can be multiplied, and if it is very less, then this quantity is mathematically zero compared to L and B, and it can be neglected. We say that they are uncorrelated quantities, or we can say that they are independent of each other. In a similar manner, you can check for perimeter. I will explain in the next slide, in the next section, how to do this. Again, you can find the fractional error in perimeter, and this fractional error, this is simple here as it is a sum. It does not contain any mixed quantities like delta L into delta B. Now, what is the general procedure? Suppose you have a quantity S that you are measuring in laboratory, and it is obtained as a product of P and Q. You expand S as S plus del S and write P as P plus minus del P and Q as Q plus minus del Q. Expand the right hand side, take the products. You will see that S will cancel out. There will be a term P into Q, as S is equal to P into Q, so it will cancel out. And ultimately, what we will be left with? We will be left with a quantity delta S, which is the uncertainty in the quantity S, and it is again containing a mixed term as it is a product similar to area P del Q plus Q del P. Now, what you have to do? The most simple thing is that you divide both sides by S is equal to P into Q. You divide delta S by S, you divide P into del Q by P into Q. And what you will be left with? You will be left with this quantity del S by S, and to maximize it, we are writing plus sign. Now, this quantity, this thing you can do in a more easier way by using the method of logarithm. Actually, we want this partial derivative form. So, to get this partial derivative form, we can do another thing which is much easier. Take the logarithm on both sides. Log S is equal to log P plus log Q. Logarithm, when you are taking product, you have a product, logarithms add up, and then find the partial derivative of each quantity on both sides with respect to itself. Find the derivative of log S with S, log P with P, log Q with Q. The derivatives with itself, and it gives you the simple direct result. Now, what we can do, in place of del P and del Q, we can write the least count of the instrument with which P and Q have been measured. This is specially required, this is specially very useful technique when your quantity depends on some powers. For example, S is a quantity which is P to the power A, Q to the power B, R to the power C. You take the logarithm and things becomes much easier, very clear. So this is how we can do the error analysis in experimental process by taking the least count of the instrument is a very important quantity that tells you what is the uncertainty in the measurement of a particular quantity. So please like, share and subscribe this video. It will be, I again plea that this will help you, me and many people like me.